Well, several suspects are now in custody after a Texas police officer was shot in the neck while responding to a call outside of an ICE facility. So it happened in Alvarado, which is near Fort Worth. This was over the holiday weekend, and Jonathan Hunt is following this story for us. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning, Dana. This all played out in the late evening of July 4th outside the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado. Police officers responded to a call about a suspicious person outside the center. When they arrived, they saw someone who appeared to have a gun. One of the Alvarado officers tried to talk to that person, and at that point, several other people opened fire on the officer, who was hit in the neck. He was treated at a local hospital and has since been released. Officers arrested a number of people at the scene. A motive for the attack is still being investigated, but the Department of Homeland Security said a group of more than a dozen people had slashed tires of federal vehicles and damaged security cameras at the ICE facility. There was also another attack on an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, Friday night, a facility that has been the site of an ongoing protest for several weeks. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche wrote on X Saturday morning, quote, "We are closely monitoring the attacks on DHS detention facilities in Prairieland, Texas and Portland, Oregon, and are coordinating with the USAOs and our law enforcement partners. The department has zero tolerance for assaults on federal officers or property and will bring the full weight of the law against those responsible." Now, both attacks, Dana, happened on the day President Trump signed his domestic policy bill into law, a bill, of course, that includes some $45 billion to expand the capacity of immigration detention centers and $31 billion for ICE operations. Dana?
All right, Jonathan Hunt, thank you.
On that topic, Tom Homan joins us, Border Czar, North Lawn. Tom, good morning to you, and thank you for your time today.
Good morning.
Let's get to the big, beautiful bill in a moment. Who were these suspects who were fired, who actually fired the shots and were later arrested? Who were they, Tom?
Look, they're your typical protesters that go from protesters to criminals. The attack on ICE officers, you've covered it many times, is up nearly 700% now. We were talking 500% a couple weeks ago, so it continues. The rhetoric against the men and women of ICE is skyrocketing, especially by members of Congress. We have senators, we have Congress people that compare ICE to the Nazis, compare ICE to racists, and it just continues. So the public thinks, well, if a member of Congress can attack ICE, why can't we? So the rhetoric has to stop, or it's a matter of time for someone to, one of the ICE officers goes down or a criminal goes down. But we already see an officer go down.
To be clear, so these were American citizens? These weren't illegals who opened fire?
No. As far as the investigation, I want to get ahead of the local investigation on this, but they appear to be agitators, people that are protesting ICE operations, damaging ICE property, want to attack ICE officers.
Okay, let's talk about the money. And Tom, you got a lot of it. $170 billion for immigration in the big, beautiful bill. Here's what it'll cover, all right? $46 billion for border wall construction. That could be completed by the time President Trump's second term is done. $45 billion expanding immigration detention capacity. $30 billion for the ICE hiring and training. $6 billion for border technology and surveillance. And it really appears that really has not been something that's been talked about a lot in this bill. But that's going to go a long way. In addition, put this up. You have 10,000 new ICE agents. Currently, you employ 5,000. You add 10,000 more for a total of 15,000. Tom, how will immigration in America change with that amount of resources going into the operation that you run?
Look, this is the first time I've seen an ICE plus up in decades. I mean, I started in 1984. I saw the Border Patrol get plussed up, 4 or 5 times. When I was in the Border Patrol, we had like 4,000 agents. Now they got 20,000. ICE has never been plussed up at a meaningful level. And that was a problem because the more you plus up Border Patrol, the more the arrests on the border increase. When they arrest them, they go in detention. Now it's ICE's job, detention. It's ICE's job, transportation. It's ICE's job to go to immigration proceedings. It's ICE's job for removal. So ICE has never been plussed up at the level. This is the biggest plus up we've ever seen, which is going to create efficiencies in the program. We can transport people, detain people, remove people quickly, but it also adds more officers to the streets, which we need. You just said it. We got less than 5,000 deportation officers at ICE. We got over 20 million illegal aliens in this country. And I see the rhetoric right now. ICE, the number 3,000 days is ridiculous. Well, I want to be clear. If you do the math, we would have to arrest 7,000 people every day for the remainder of the Trump administration just to remove those that Biden released into the country. So $3,000 people a day is not unreasonable. This gives more agents on the street to arrest more criminals, more national security threats. It couldn't come fast enough.
Tom, will this change some aspects of America?
Look, I think it's going to make America safer. For every criminal alien we take off the street and deport to another country, for every national security threat, look, we got over 200 Iranians who are arrested since the Iran conflict. So this is going to make this community safer. Bill, we got over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal records walking the streets of this nation. With this plus up, we can take them into custody, remove them quicker. That's going to make this country safe again. We're going to show the whole world that if you enter this country illegally, which is a crime, and you commit yet another crime here, there is zero tolerance. We're going to find you and deport you. We got to show the world there's consequences for violating our laws.
One more thing here. We watched about a week ago, Everglades, southern Florida, Alligator Alcatraz was open. Here's the headline, Alligator Alcatraz 2.0, second migrant detention center plan in the Florida Everglades. You've got that, and you've got Stephen Miller, who said this about a week ago. Roll this.
We want to go to every Republican state, pick up the phone, call DHS, work with us to build facilities in your state so that we can get the illegals out, we can get the criminals out.
Tom, which states do you see accepting that today?
Look, I think every red state governor would want to help us do this because we need a lot more beds. We need 100,000 beds, and right now we got about 58,000 in custody. So we got to ramp up those beds quickly. Thank God, Governor DeSantis came through. This is a great facility. It's got an airstrip right there that we're going to use not only to deport people from that facility, we're going to use that as a staging area for the East Coast. We got a staging facility in Arizona. We got one in Texas. It's great. In Louisiana, it's great to have one in Florida. But I hope all the red state governors step up and help us do this because we need beds quickly. And they got a prison system. They can certainly build upon that. But it's also going to give an efficiency to American taxpayer. Detention facilities are expensive. We're looking for the best deal out there. We're still going to count on our private contractors. They do it better. They do it cheaper than the U.S. government does it. But we want the governor to step up. This is their problem, too. I mean, what Biden administration did to this country is a problem for every state in the country, even blue states. But I just don't think they're going to step up because they're too busy attacking ICE and they're too busy attacking Trump policies.
On that point, quick question, quick answer. Could this get ugly?
As long as the false stories go out, being pushed out by the media and members of the Hill, it could get ugly. I just hope the rhetoric stops because we're talking about life and death here. These men and women of ICE, the men and women of Border Patrol, remember this, they're mothers and fathers too. They don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They're enforcing the laws enacted by Congress. If you don't like it, go protest Congress.
Tom Homan, thank you for your time. We'll speak again very soon. Thank you from the White House today. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.